everybody, I'm Mike Osman from Taylor Guitars, and I'm here at McQuade today to show you some really exciting things and some up-and-coming ideas that are really going to break ground on some new ways that Taylor Guitars is going to show people how we make and create this sustainable effort towards acoustic guitars for generations to come. Now, the guitar I'm holding is a new guitar for this year. It's the 324 CE Builder's Edition. Now let's take a step back for a second. Andy Powers, who is our head guitar designer, and he's also now the third partner at Taylor Guitars alongside Bob Taylor and Kurt Listug. He has kind of this full control now on what we're designing and what guitars come to market, all based on his experience with arch tops and electric guitars and F-hole mandolins and especially high-end acoustic instruments. So, when we talk about a Builder's Edition, we're talking about Andy Powers, the builder, and everything that he would want inside of an instrument if he was going to take his own guitar out into the real world. Builder's Edition guitars always feature certain aspects and attributes that you can't find on anything else in our line, like chamfered edges, a curved wing bridge. There's a very special finish on this called silent satin, and what that does is it keeps the guitar quiet if you're a live performer or if you're in the studio. But here's the secret. Everything around a Builder's Edition guitar is designed for comfort and this continuous soft nature of the instrument. So there's no sharp edges anywhere. Okay, that being said, now what makes the 324 CE Builder's Edition very, very specific and yet even special in its own right? All across acoustic guitar brands, we see some of the basic food groups like rosewood. We talk about mahogany, we talk about maple, maybe koa, but what people are always looking for is this unique kind of kinship with the guitar wood that they have and how it really relays itself to the real world. Where does it come from? Is it sustainably and ethically forested? All right, so check this out. Very recently did we find a company in California that has a business similar to the size of Taylor Guitars. And what they do is they manage, track, nurture, and remove all of the local trees in just about every major city in California, along with other big cities in the United States. Trees have a very specific life cycle, and when they die or when they're removed, they typically go to waste, and that means mulch or dirt or sawdust or something of the like. Well, Bob Taylor, Andy Powers, and a gentleman named Scott Paul, who's our Director of Sustainability, he comes from Greenpeace, they went to this company known as West Coast Armrest and they said, we're interested in using trees that are locally harvested or sustainably available. Now, when we think about a tree in our neighborhood or in our community, they provide some very specific positive functions. Shade, noise break, a wind break. They bring a great social setting to a park. And these things, when they come to their end of life, they either need to be removed again or go to mulch. So we thought, what a great idea. And if we could repurpose some of these trees and give them a new end of life cycle, and what would be more sustainable than putting them into a really nicely made acoustic guitar? There's nothing more sustainable than that. Okay, so we went to this yard. They'd been stockpiling these trees for 30 or 40 years, and we pulled 6 or 7. We cut them up, we dried them, and it turns out that chamois ash, which is something we have now coined and trademarked as urban ash, which is kind of like that spongy ash that you might see on a Telecaster, not that rock hard ash that baseball bats are made out of. And it has a vocal and physical response just like Honduran mahogany does. So when you think about mahogany, it is like the banana of tone woods. It plays great with everything, and it just has an incredible natural bloom to it. So chamois ash, now known as urban ash, is the wood that graces a 324 CE Builder's Edition. Okay, it's going to be paired with a mahogany top, so it gives a really kind of rich, velvety complexion to the voice of the instrument. You're going to notice that it has a beveled armrest on here. This is twofold. One, for comfort. When you play your guitar, your arm is draped over it. Some of you play guitar for hours on end. You get that sore arm. You start to notice that you need to take a break. Well, this actually brings some relief to that. The second thing it does is it kind of removes the damper from the front of your instrument. So when you have your arm draped over that thing, you can stifle some of that sonic excitement that happens in the lower bout, which is where all that energy is creating all of this sound. So now that I've got a beveled armrest, which is almost functioning art, it allows for more projection, more warmth and clarity, but also from an ergonomic standpoint, it actually creates this ease of play and invites you to play longer, which is really important. So The 324 CE Builders Edition brings a player into our Builders Edition collection, which is around 9 or 10 guitars at the moment, at its most entry-level price point, but it gives you all of the benefits that our master designer Andy Powers would want you to experience. And again, it's comfort, it's unique tone woods with a great story, it's ergonomic attributes that keep you playing longer, it's the finish that has a purpose, whether you're in the studio, live, or just something that's more enjoyable at home. And all of these things just give you that extra thrill when it's time to become engaged with your acoustic. So for more about Builders Edition guitars from Taylor Guitars, or just Taylor guitars in general, I really invite you to go to any of your local Long & McQuade stores, or just check it out on longmcquade.com.